Will you refinance your properties to put down deposits on more properties to rent out? Yep, that's exactly what I've done in the past. So I refinanced property number one to buy property number five. The value had gone up so much in property number one since I bought it, I was able to buy property number five. Now, obviously, in terms of refinancing, again, obviously, I'm sitting on six properties. So property number one, I wouldn't be able to refinance on that. It hasn't gone up in value enough. Property number two, I would be able to refinance. So I would be able to pull out money from property number two. Property number three, probably not. Definitely not number four. So property three and four are two flats that are opposite each other, yeah? Property number five, which is obviously the property that I used the money from property number one to buy. So I used money from property number one to buy number five. That property there was bought way under market value. And obviously, once the renovation work is complete, then I'll obviously be able to, pull out money if I want to. And then property number six, obviously, that's our most recent purchase. I purchased that 3 months ago. I did not buy it under market value. I bought it at market value. Property number six is next to property number one, and they're both the same value. So yeah, I wouldn't be able to pull out no money. Like I said, I bought it at market value. So if you buy something at market value, in 2-3 months time, it's not going to go up in value that much. This ain't London. Man bought properties up in Northampton and that. So yeah, that's what I'll do. But obviously with Northampton, the properties don't go up in value that much, that quick. So yeah, it's not a case of me refinancing and pulling out money the following year. Can do that in London maybe, but not in Northampton. So but yeah, that's the plan. So obviously all the properties right now, they're all worth 1 million together, yeah. And in, let's say, 20-25 years time, they will definitely be worth 2.5 mil. Easily be worth 2.5 mil. Obviously I don't want to wait until I'm 52 years old to be sitting on 2.5 mil on that. But hey, most 52-year-olds ain't even got flipping 2.5 grand, let alone 20 grand in their bank account and that. So this is why I say man for buy properties ASAP, because you're not going to see much appreciation for at least 3-5 years and that. So you want to buy as much properties as possible so that you can take advantage of the capital appreciation. You don't want to have a property portfolio of 5, but it took you 25 years to buy those 5. You want to have a property portfolio of 5 and have bought those 5 properties over a 3-year period. Because after that 3-year period, when you've got those 5 properties, 10 years later, you've got all this equity in that. If you buy one property every 5 years and 25 years later, you've got 5 properties in that, well, you haven't been able to take advantage of the capital appreciation. Crazy. I remember, yeah, I went to one old woman's yard, yeah, that lives next to, like, she lives near where property number one and property number 6 is. Like I said, property number 1 and property number 6 is next door. So she lives around the corner. She lives in a council house. And I said, like, she's 70 years old, yeah? I said, like, yo, how come you didn't buy this property, like, years ago and that? Because she's told me that the property was worth 7 grand when she first moved in. She could have bought it for 7 grand. I was like, why didn't you buy it? She said, because my husband, he didn't want to get into any debt. He's not the type of person that wants to take on any responsibilities and that. So basically, he was scared. Yeah, he was scared of getting in a little bit of debt. He was scared of taking on a commitment and that. And what happened? The man is no longer here, has not left nothing behind for his wife. Imagine, yeah, this woman is 70 years old. She literally, yeah, could have been sitting on, she don't even have to be sitting on 10 properties. She could have just bought 3 or 4 properties back in the day when they were dirt cheap. Obviously, people weren't earning as much back then. But she could have bought a bunch, like 3 properties back in the day, even 3 properties within a 10-year period, yeah? If she bought those 3 properties within a 10-year period, fast forward 30 years later, yo, all 3 of those properties would have been worth, well, they're the same as mine. So they'd have been worth, what, 210 each? So we're looking at 630 grand. And all she would have to have put down in terms of deposits is probably about, I don't know, 40 grand. I don't know, something like that. Because obviously the first property would have been a residential, then the others would have been buy-to-lets and that. Let's say it was even 40 grand. Let's say it was like 30 grand you have to put down. Imagine putting down 30 grand and then boom, 40 years later, 30 years later, your 30 grand is now worth 630 grand. That's mad. So yeah, her husband done her dirty still, boy. There's nothing worse than a guy that's holding back his woman, boy, because he's scared. Anyway, man, that's it for today, man. Stay away. Turn up.